Hello, 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 hello. We are back tonight on Talk Talk Live. How are you? Hope all is well. Let me put my full cam on here. And we are live on IG and on YouTube right now. Hello everyone on YouTube. Hello and everyone on IG. We are back here on Talk Talk Live. Hope you had a great weekend. Sorry I wasn't there yesterday as stated. Yeah, I was doing some administrative stuff and I thought that, and it ran just a bit over time. And but again, I promise is a promise, and I thought I'd make it up today. So here I am, and we are doing our thing here on Talk Talk Live, sponsored by Duntalk DUNTALK.com. Fall Winter line out now. Actually, the creator of Duntalk is in the background here. She's looking at speakers. Yeah, she's looking at speakers. So I don't know what the speakers are for, but again, she's looking at speakers. So again, yes, we are back here at Talk Talk Live, and we are going to talk about the juiciest topic of the day, quite simply, in these neck of the woods in North America, quite simply, and stretching out over the pond, the affair of T.J. Holmes and Amy Robach. Yes, yes, yes. How cheating in the office is done. I cannot get enough. I thought I'd get out of the red pill for today because I cannot get enough of this scandal, of this affair. Because quite simply, it was brought to my attention from family. Family had told me about this torrid affair between these two married couples, TJ Holmes, who was married to his lawyer wife. Just one second, let me grab their name. Yes, here's where preparation comes in. Let me just tell you in Holmes' wife. Yes, indeed. And there she is. It's Marley Fiebig. Indeed, 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 indeed. Marley Fiebig, who is an attorney in the United States, and yes, and they had three lovely children together with TJ, and they were living, the how should I say, the successful life, a successful lawyer and a successful TV host, earning millions of dollars a year. And on the other hand, we have Amy Robach and Mr. Shu. I think it was husband, yes, indeed. Marley Fiebig, yes. Amy Robach, husband, there we go, is always available. Andrew Shue, yes, indeed. He was from Melrose Place way back in the day, Andrew Shue. He's in his 50s now, but way back in the day in the 90s, he had a very successful show called Melrose Place that did the round. So his face was very, very familiar to her. But again, she was previously married before as well to Tim McIntosh. You can see this live on Talk Talk Live right now, actually. No, you can't. You can just see my face because I have it here. I have you here with me on the non-browser. Yes, indeed. So we just did a quick research on that. So again, so just to give a bit of background, I remember T.J. Holmes from. I remember him from I would say the BET days way back when he used to do shows on BET, Black Entertainment Television for those who do not know, and yeah, he's made his way up the ranks, hosting a few different shows and talk shows, and he finally got his big break on Good Morning America, on Good Morning America 2 and 3, but he's fought his way to the top. To be fair and frank, he has done a lot of gigs. He's done a lot of. Let's go back into his history, just so that people understand where this man is coming from. This is not a gentleman who literally came out of nowhere. This guy has had a history. This guy has been a television presenter for years. And yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yes, his Wikipedia. Yes, indeed. Because I just want to get into his quick look at his background here, Mr. Holmes, from a black perspective. Anyway, so, yes, indeed. Here we go. Aha. The computer's working here. All right. Disclaimers to Wikipedia members, of course, of course, of course. Please donate, please donate, please donate. And I usually donate, actually. I usually do donate to Wikipedia because they do a good service, indeed. So, yes. Yes, he was doing, again, he did some anchor work in the San Francisco Bay Area, again, and then he joined CNN. Yes, that's where he got his big break. His big break came on CNN as a news anchor and correspondent in October 2006. So he did a lot of work on CNN to October 2006. In October 2006, he did that for about at least 10 years. Yes, indeed. Holmes' last day was, so 5 years. Sorry about that. His last day was Christmas 2011. Then he moved to BET, as I said. There you go. Then he moved to BET in December 2011, and Holmes BET announced that he had signed a multi-platform deal with BET Network. So basically, he had done some work on BET. So he done some TV shows like the original series Don't Sleep. And also he done some special reports on the show itself, and then he moved on to MSNBC. He did that for a year. He had canceled Don't Sleep, and Holmes had left the network. So again, he had done the show Don't Sleep for 2 years. Then he left the network. Then he went on to MSNBC, returned to CNN. Then he got onto ABC News as a news team, as part of their news team in September 26, 2014, and on a temporary basis as he did World News Now. So he did the night shift, the overnight news program. That's where people usually get their start on ABC News. Doing the overnight shift on World News Now and America This Morning. That's where I noticed him a lot, filling in for Good Morning America. And then he made his real career milestone by being a part of GMA Weekend, and then made a permanent anchor on World News Now. And then September 2020, he joined GMA3, which is where he really blew up. That's where. But again, this is not a guy who has been who has worked tirelessly in the shadows, basically. From again 2003 onwards, from local news all the way to a national desk, that being GMA3. So he's been in the industry for a while now. As I said, I remembered him back in the BET days, and again he has come on and on leaps and bounds as an anchor on GMA3, which all the credit, all the power to him, all the credit to him. That's where he got his ratings. That's where he got his start. Hello, everyone on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers. Hello, M3K Photography. Good people, good people, good people. Just giving you a wave there. And so, again, personal life again with Mr. Holmes. He was married twice, as I said. He was first married to Amy Fearson, two divorced in 27. They had 2 daughters, 2 children, daughter Brianna and son Jaden. Then he married Atlanta-based attorney Marley Feebig. So that's where he is now, and that's where he was now. Let that be past tense. March 2010 in Memphis, Tennessee. The daughter Sabine was born in 2013. So he has 3 kids from 2 different marriages. The couple separated in 2022 after his affair with co-host Amy Robach, as we know. So that's where we stand with Mr. TJ Holmes. Again, TJ has been out there and about there for a while now, and again, he has slang and bang in the news industry for a while, bouncing between CNN, ABC, BET, local news as well. So this guy is a well thought of individual in the industry. He's a very venerable TV presenter and news anchor, and also reporter on these various networks. So let us move forward with Amy Robach's career. Just give you a background of Amy, where Amy came from. Just a quick one, because not a lot of people know about Amy. All they know about no, I just want Amy. Thank you. Again, you can see this on Talk Talk Live. Let Let me move on to the cam. Thank you. I just want to give you a bigger background as to who we are talking about here, Miss Robach. Again, let's see here. Here we go. Ms. Robach. There we go. Again, she's the older of the two. Think about that. She is the older woman of the two because, again, TJ Holmes is 45. She's 49. She is 49 years old. Again, a bit of a June-September romance, really. Again, she started in local news in the Washington D.C. area. Then she moved on to MSNBC, and she was named co-anchor of Weekend Today. And again, she initially appeared on Good Morning America as a correspondent. Then she became news anchor in 2014. In 2018, Robach became co-anchor of 2020. So this girl is a little more sterling career, but considering who she is, you'd understand that. And in March 2020, Robach began hosting Pandemic: What You Need to Know on ABC. So she's had a long history with ABC. ABC from hello everyone on Talk Talk Live. We are just going on the background of Ms. Amy Robach. Again, she was with ABC News, working on several programs, including Good Morning America in 2020, What You Need to Know again, and also a few other things until she finally got the gig at GMA 3 in 2020. And started hosting it with TJ Holmes at that time in March. I think it's March or April 2020, as we said. So again, a woman with a long history. Again, starting in 1995 on local networks in Washington D.C., moving on to the bigger stage of ABC News, and I'd say 2012. Then getting gigs on Good Morning America and 2020, and then 2014, that's where she became the co-anchor of 2020, and then was moved to the new gig at GMA 3 with TJ Holmes, and this is where things began. So things start out, quite innocently. These two were, working together, quite platonic. They are both married, as you say. One married to a lawyer, another married to a well-known actor. And Ms. Feebig and Mr. Shu, respectively. And again, things started innocently, as they said. But, as time wore on, they got closer. They got, they enjoyed each other's company. They started working late hours. They started, showing a lot of admiration for each other, and quite simply, things grew from there. You know what I mean? To a point where now we are at the stage we are at the moment. But you know what? Better than I say it, I have a film that would better explain it. So I'm going to just get into it right here, right now. And I hope you listen in. You can listen to it live here on YouTube. Let me see if I got the caption on. Yes, I do. Oh, no, I don't. Here we go. Now we're onto the browser. Now we need you. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to get into the whole TJ Holmes. I did a little background, so now we're going to get into the whole TJ Holmes affair. At Narisa, we should work together. Hey, there you go. We got a little network going on here in the chat on IG. So like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to get into it right here. Okay, let's stop it right there. Now, that's one thing that I didn't catch is the fact that they were working together on Good Morning America for 7 years. 7 year original. So they were together, working together for 7 years, and their relationship grew from there. So again, they were total professionals, to start with, and from all intents and purposes, everything was on the up and up. But it turns out, they had grown a liking towards each other again. But as I stated before on a previous Talk to Talk Live, and I will state again on a few more occasions going forward, the biggest place to find affairs is at the workplace. The most common area to have an affair is workplace affair. Because listen, you're in each other's company for several hours at a time. For half the day, really, if you're working late, and you get to know each other on a more personal basis. If you work together for a long time, as these two have for 7 years, and if there is any sort of chemistry that is found, it's easy to find each other because you're within each other's company. Quite simply for hours at a time. So again, we are left here. Is it any wonder these guys had an affair together? I don't think so. I think things had dwindled in their marriage. Had dwindled in their marriages. Something was amiss, and they found excitement with each other. So, but again, if the number one place to find affairs is at the workplace, simply because of time together. Let's move on. Stop it there for a second. Now, as you can see, she was there during a difficult moment for her. Who do you reach out to the most when you're at work? I mean, when you are alone and away from home, you reach out to your colleagues at work, especially if you can trust each other in a certain sense. And hey, you know what? Things grew from there. So they say it started in August 2020, but I would say this was years in the making. I say they were flirting. They were I wouldn't say intimate with each other. I would say they intimate with each other within the last year or so. But no, this was a slow burn, and it started way back. It started maybe about I would guesstimate 2 or 3 years ago. It really started, and then things started really heating up within the last year or so, because that's when they were they were starting to do things together. They were starting to run together. They started training together. They were working together. So they were with each other for hours at a time and enjoyed each other's company. It was clear to all those in their vicinity that things were heating up, and they weren't. Nobody was there to cool it down. Nobody was there to reveal it to husband or wife of each, because I would say they were in the office on a regular basis. They would, they were there on a need to know basis, really. And, this was allowed to fester and grow at an exponential rate within the last, I would say, year or 2 years. Comment if you think that it was there for longer on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's continue. There it is. So, as I said on Talk Talk Live, like, subscribe, comment. This didn't just start in 2022. I think there was an infatuation. It was a questioning. It was a longing for a little while. One party acted, and made an advance to another. It was the advance was reciprocated, and things began. I think this was in the offing for at least, I would say, a year to 2 years, solid. And I would listen. Yeah, it got really hot and heated over the last year, and it came to a point where they couldn't be out each other's company, and they decided, hey, this August we're going to split from our husband and wife. Yes. So I would say 2 years at least. A year, hot and heavy. They're secret lovers for a while. Shout out Atlantic Star for those who don't, for those who know. And they decided, let's make it official in August. But you'll see how that comes in handy, and how they indeed changed the game in terms of cheating with that one move, and I think a very clever move on both of their parts. But we'll continue. So we go back to it. I mean, I think at this point, like when after the Queen's death, and they were in London, where I would say that they had a torrid affair, and I think that's where they came to it. Well, they had a torrid tete-a-tete, tryst, as they say, lovers rendezvous, as they say. Then it was made. Then they made. I think they came to the decision that they made things public. I think that's the time when they said to themselves, "Okay, we can't hide this any longer. We love each other too much. We're going to make the decision." And I think after that date in August, when they indeed, they separated, they started separation / divorce proceedings with their exes. They made it known to their exes. That's when they started becoming a little more public, as you saw in those Daily Mail photos. They simply didn't care. They hid it quite carefully, I would say, in the first year. And once proceedings had begun and the divorce was becoming final, I know in the Shoe v. Robach divorce proceedings, things were moving quite speedily towards a divorce. It was in the offing, I would say, within the next week, before they were discovered by the Daily Mail and all other tabloids. So that was in the offing. It was clear as day. She wasn't going back to Robach wasn't going back to Shoe, and T.J. Holmes wasn't going back to Feebig. They were now a couple. They were now, for all intents and purposes, a couple now, and they didn't want the world. They weren't hiding it, and that's why they didn't care about. That's where you had more pictures of them together, more public outings, more more brazen rendezvous, and it couldn't be hidden. It literally couldn't be hidden any longer. And now, not only the staff but the world knew that of this affair. So again, that's where we stand. Again, they talk about this morality clause in their contract, or as anybody said, as in any contract with HR, there's a code of conduct, and people were saying that they may have broken that code of conduct by having this affair. Simply put, you're not supposed to fraternize with coworkers, or at least keep it, or it should be kept at least very private. So, it came to a point where it wasn't looking good, and I know who was the somebody give me a name of the talk show. Yes, indeed. Hold on. The head of Good Morning America, GMA host. Let me just look it up here. GMA host. Yes. Yes. Enter that, and we have Here we go. Yes, Robin Roberts. Yes, indeed. Everybody's favorite lesbian. She, I heard, did not like the fact that they were canoodling together. Did not like the fact that they had this affair going on at work, and she basically wanted to call a stop to it. She basically wanted to, wanted to make it public and have the affair ended and not have them on the show, among other people on set. But yeah, Robin Roberts was, I think, one of the leaders of, having, one of the leaders or one of the proponents of firing, quite simply, Holmes and Robach for their misgivings. Because again, well, anyways, I'm not going to make any fun of anything else. She just wanted them fired. So again, it is it caused a lot of ripples within the GMA staff, within ABC News. As we said, the head of ABC News, head of ABC News knew of the affair long ago, and she did not hide. Under the rug. Well, she tried to hide under the rug, but as long as they kept it discreet. But it came to a point where Amy and TJ were leaving their husband and wife, and they wanted to, make their affair public. Now, again, it came to when the news broke, and it came to, it was publicized not only in North America but throughout the world. It was presumed that both would be, as they said, demoted to certain roles within GMA, and then let go of their contract. Because again, these guys have they earn millions of dollars a year, TJ and Amy. So they're in a situation where they didn't want to have to, pay out their contract, because again, they didn't break. As we will explain soon, they didn't exactly break any sort of, confidentiality rules, any sort of code of conduct rules while in this role, because again, it had been conducted in private, and once they came out to let the world know what they were doing, they had basically separated from the wives, so they were on the up and up. So, to be fair and frank, they are quite clever in how, and this set a precedent, I believe, making a long story short, in how to cheat in the workplace publicly. Because this is a huge role to be an anchor on ABC News. Huge. Huge. Even though it's GMA3, even though it's in the afternoon, even though they call it GMA3, but I don't know. They should be Good Afternoon America. Anyways, but again, they still say it's Good Morning America. But again, it is still a very huge. I think it's the #1 rated morning talk show, or morning network talk show there is. And again, it's a show that not only stretches into the morning but into the afternoon. And so, and it achieves very high ratings for itself. And, it's one of the biggest broadcasts, one of the biggest shows there are in American television. So to be a part of that, huge network, to have a huge network role like they did as anchors, it would definitely attract attention. And again, they would be, it would show would it put the show in a bad light? I guess so, because of the controversy. But again, they did it on the up and up, and we'll get into that on Talk Talk Live in just a bit. So let's see, let's let this play, and then we're gonna see the reaction of them on the Friday. So leave it there. It's a shout out to, I say this, Drama Bay for that report. A nice succinct report. But again, like they said, they did it the right way, people. Give them credit. They could have easily slipped up. They could have easily made it a more huge scandal while still being married to their spouses, and they could have had themselves fired. But they did the right thing. But I'm gonna get into that in just 1 minute. Let's see what happened the day of. Yes, indeed. Where are we at here? Yes. Here we go. I have a little report on Entertainment Tonight on what happened the day of their comeback, because what happened between the two is that, again, once the scandal was found out that week, Amy took a couple days off. She decided, I don't want to be around this controversy. I don't want to be around the affair and its ramifications. So she took some time away, and it was the show was hosted on its own by TJ. So, and he had totally played it off, totally laughed it off, and he said, and he never brought attention to it. Then on Friday, Amy came back. Amy came back on Friday, and clearly she was quite uncomfortable being there, because she knew that the affair had now become public, and she wanted to, basically go into a hole and die. Well, I wouldn't say die. She didn't want to be there. Let's say that she did not want to be at GMA. But hey, GMA3. But hey, it's her contract. She needs to be there. She's not sick. She's not pregnant or any or any have any sort of ailment or any sort of family issue. So she had to be there. So she showed up on Friday. And Entertainment Tonight, shout out to them. They had reported on their return, and we're gonna see this now. Notice what they said there. Let me rewind that back. Notice what they said there in the caption. Amy and TJ will not face disciplinary action because they're two consenting co-workers who are equals in a relationship. So basically, there's no power dynamics going on here, where usually people are ousted because one party took advantage of another. No, they're equals. And they knew they were equals. So chances are they couldn't find fault with that. They couldn't say, oh, well, one's an anchor, one's a page, or one's another's an anchor, and one's a researcher or a writer on the show. So, both are of the same high profile. And because of that, there's no power dynamics. So therefore, one wasn't using his place at and his position at GMA to influence another or to coerce another into sex. So they couldn't call him a sexual assaultee either on either party, because they're both equal consenting adults. So they couldn't bring as they said, any sort of code of conduct charges against them, because they did it the right way. They actually, now again, let me say this. I feel bad for Ms. Phoebe. I feel bad for Mr. Shu, because they were the last to know about this affair. Nobody would like to be hurt in any sort of affair between these two parties. But again, let's face facts here, people. These two have been married before. They're on their second marriages, the both of them. Their second marriages. And again, I don't know if there's. I don't think Ms. Robach had any kids, but TJ had 3, 2 from his first marriage, 1 from his second. So they're not babes in the woods here. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they liked being each other's company, and quite simply, the affair continued. However, as that affair continued, they made it so that they couldn't be caught out by any affairs. They couldn't, because again, as they said, power dynamic. Both were the same. As they said, they both left their spouses before the affair actually began. It was a hidden secret on ABC, at ABC News and on Good Morning America, but they did it so that when it was announced, they were both parting ways with their spouses. They had both been given the news. This wasn't news to them. So no code of conduct, no sort of morality clauses were being broken here. They did it right, guys. Even though people were hurt in the process, and we again, we look. Give a shout out to Mr. Shu and and Ms. Fiebig for their any sort of loss that they incurred during this affair, because again they're hurting. As Mr. Shu did, he cleared. I think it'll be made a little public at the end of this report. He cleared his Instagram account of any sort of picture of Ms. Robach and Mr. Shu together. Totally cleared it. He's clearly pissed off, and so he should be. There's no doubt about that. So people were hurting this. We have to have an eye out for them. But to be fair, I think this creates a precedent on how to cheat in the workplace. It creates a huge precedent on how to cheat in the workplace. This will be followed for years to come. Watch. They did. If you're gonna cheat like this. Let's continue. Think about that, people. Think about that. First, they spend how much on air time they have together, or even prep time they're on there together. I would give it 5 to 6 hours, tops. But then you add this whole running piece to things. So they have shared interests. That only solidified the affair. Because they had a love of running. Something that Mr. Shu did have, but he wasn't as ardent as Mr. Holmes. No. Because quite simply, well, Mr. Holmes was a bit younger. Andrew Shu is 55. Mr. Holmes is 46. So he has more energy in him to run. Run on a few things. Run up on a few things, quite simply. And she enjoyed that. She was very much pleased by having a soulmate in running in Mr. Holmes. And listen, hey, let's these are two attractive people here. We're talking above average attractive people. Okay? These are 8, 9s, and 10s to both of them. They are attractive people. And what do most women want? They want to be around and cheat with an attractive man, and vice versa. And they knew that they were top of the tree in terms of looks. 8, 9, 10. Even at 49, she looks great. and they said, you know what? If I'm going to cheat on anybody, I wanted to be the best, and T.J. Holmes was the best, and vice versa. And with Amy Robach clearly was the best as well. So right there, that's where things began. That's where love bloomed. That's where infatuation took flight. Mutual attraction, mutual interests, working together for a long period of time, and quite simply, they didn't want to be out of each other's company. And I'm sure, and again, I would say for the last year to 2 years, this was in the offing. This was going on. This was happening. It's only now that they came out and did that, and they said, you know what, to hell with it. We've already split from our spouses. Let's if they find us, they find us. But they did it right. They did not make it public. They kept it very, very, very discreet until around August, September, and then November. Things got really sloppy. And they said, but at that time they didn't really care because they'd already done the due diligence. They'd already gone down the steps of separation and divorce. So, continued. We're gonna both be finishers. We're gonna both be finishers. Yes, he said that. Oh, yes, she said that. They're gonna both be finishers, and I think you can tell what they're gonna finish. Running's the start. There's an end, and it ain't on any sort of running path, on any sort of road course. Nope. It's somewhere else, and it's outside of public view, but now it's in the public view, as seen by the pictures and such. We continue. Notice when she said, I don't feel alone. Train with friends so that you don't feel alone. Mr. Shu wasn't doing his job when it came to Ms. Robach in that department. Clearly, Mr. Shu couldn't keep up. He come in from time to time and be, some sort of, support group or support person for Ms. Robach, but she literally outran him. She literally outran him. And then, quite simply, what had happened was that she found a new running partner. She found a new running mate. And it was T.J. Holmes. There it is. Sorry about that. Sorry. It was the Platinum Jubilee. It wasn't the Queen's death. It was the Platinum Jubilee they were covering, and that's where things really lit up. Anyways, continue. And there it is. Shout out to ET for that report. Again, he had the one. He had the one baby with the lawyer, Ms. Feebig. He had two with his previous relationship, so he had three kids. And he said to himself, "You know what? I'm sure he was saying to himself, I'm done having kids now. I'm pretty finished. I'm pretty done, and I can move forward with this relationship, move forward with this life now, this new life that we had planned here." But let's get into. Let me see here. Or is there anything here? Yes, indeed. Well, why don't we go into what I decide now, how to have a secret office romance? That's what I want to get into right now, because quite simply, these guys wrote the new book on how to have a secret romance. They literally okay, people at the office knew about their affair, but it came to a point where they couldn't be fired by it. Usually people get sloppy. Usually people get, usually people who have affairs, especially in the workplace, would come to a point where they would make mistakes, and these mistakes would be done too early, before they would break up from their significant partners, and they were two consenting adults, so they had no legal leg to stand on, no HR leg to stand on at this point, to a point where now they either have to be allowed to continue at their job, or they have to be, given different assignments, but they have to be paid out for their term and in accordance with their contract. How many people would are available to have that to themselves as coworkers in an affair? Not many, if any. And especially at this high profile affair, listen, they did it right. Even though people were hurt, they did it right. They did it right. So we're gonna get into to this little wiki how step into how to have a secret romance. I just happened upon this. I said, you know what? Let me go down the steps and see what you think. See what the general public thinks. First of all, you need to communicate in stealth. If preferred mode of communication is texting, use Snapchat. If you prefer email, try flag buzz. Avoid using your mobile office phone. You can always learn Morse code as a last resort and make up a secret language between the two lovebirds to chat with. So again, they could have been on Snapchat to communicate. They could have, again, these flag biz or some sort of secret mode of communication, or they couldn't have used their phones at all. They may have made their rendezvous, they may have made their times together by secret note or just by verbal communication. Hard to catch that in any way, shape, or form if you verbally communicate it, so it's not documented. You can't just go on their phone and say, "Oh yeah, well, it's done this way." I'm sure it was mouth to mouth, quite literally. It was just communicated to each other what they were going to do, at what time they're going to be, and when they're going to be there, and they stayed offline quite simply for most of the affair. That's how it became undetected. That's how there are no flags raised. I think they stayed incommunicado, or basically, verbal for most of that marriage. So again, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We are talking about the TJ Holmes and Amy Robach affair. How you cheat in the workplace. They wrote the book. They literally wrote the book on how to do it, to a point where their millions of dollars they're paid is not in jeopardy. We'll continue with the list here of how to cheat in the workplace. Number 2, be professional. Between 9 and 5, romance must appear to be the last thing on your mind. Maintain a work-like demeanor at all times. Avoid touching, lingering looks, saucy comments, or intimate conversations. If anything, give your partner a wider berth than other colleagues. And I'm sure they did that for the most part. But again, things started, you can see things started to get a little more touchy-feely as things moved into 2022. Yes, they did. They literally did. They got they made it, well, very aware. And again, it all came to a crescendo in November where they just didn't care. I really believe they just didn't care as of last month. They just didn't care. They said, you know what? We're already in a divorce. We've already done things right. You know, if they want to fire us, they can fire us, but they got to pay us. They got to pay us. So let's get on with it. So, again, yeah. But as it says here, you know, in step 2 of how to carry on a workplace affair, be professional. And they were professionals. And listen, they were one of the highest rated couples on GMA, on daytime television. They were successful. No matter what you think, no matter how you think of the scandal, if you like it or dislike it, these were two likable people. Black man, blonde woman? Who would have thought? Anyways, we move on. We move on here. So, number 3, arrange rendezvous. Set times and places where to meet, where you know you will get some privacy. Arrange rendezvous like an IRS agent. Plan cover stories. Arrive from different directions. And think about escape routes. Didn't they tell us that in all the publications about this affair? Yeah, they did. TJ Holmes has the most to lose. Well, King Onan, thank you for the comment. You know, he does. Well, to a certain extent, he does. But listen, here's the thing. I think he already broke it to his family that he's leaving. The separation papers are already on the desk in August, September at the latest. So it wasn't new to them. And yeah, I mean, but the fact of the matter is he already has his 2 to 3 kids. It's not as if he won't see them. He won't have visitation of them. It's just that he'll be doing it in the guise of a father, not a father not in the house, but as a father who will be there, you know, on first day of school graduation. Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Yes, indeed. I had to call that one out. So, shout out to Outkast. One of the greatest albums of all time on that one. Yes. So, in terms of if TJ has a most to lose, I think he's weighed those odds. I think he's done the cost-benefit analysis and said, you know what? Listen, I'm with a millionaire myself. I'm a millionaire. She's a millionaire. We both have millionaire jobs. I don't think, they're suffering anytime soon. Yes, of course, you have, divorce proceedings and any sort of alimony and child support payments that need to be made. But he's done the cost benefit analysis, and he said, you know what? I'd rather be with her than to be with my current wife, and that speaks to something, people. Well, something that we have not brought to the attention of this Talk Live show, in that we have an attorney. She's had a baby. She's a busy woman herself. Did she make time for TJ? We got to ask ourselves this. This is something that has to be brought to the attention. Did she make time for TJ? Yes, she's in a high-profile job. And as a lawyer, it's long hours away from your spouse. Long hours away from your spouse does not allow for a lot of intimacy. Let me just get this back up. Let me just do this while on the full cam. Yes, Miss Feebig was loyal. I'm sure Mr. Shu was loyal as well, but, he was getting older, and clearly she wanted someone young in her life, but let's put that aside. It's true that Miss Feebig had and Mr. Shu had a young family together. I think it was a 5-6-year-old that they had previously. Let's just check that out quite quickly here. Mr. Holmes. Yes. Yes. Their daughter Sabine was born in 2013. So she is 8, 9 years old. So they had a young daughter together. They had a young daughter together. Again, he had two children by different marriage beforehand, but they were teenagers they were teenagers at the time, so I think they had been adjusted. But again, their daughter Sabine is only 8 right now. 8 or 9. 8 or 9. 9. 9. Yes, 9. So there's an adjustment period there. But I think he weighed the pros and the cons, and he said, you know what, I'd rather be with Miss Feebig and we co-parent our daughter. And that she will be fine. But so again, there it is, people. It is it's a shame that she had to be brought into the middle, slightly into the middle of this, but it's hope that love conquers all, but I don't know if that's indeed the case. We move on with the list. So they arranged rendezvous again, as I was saying. They were thinking of different escape routes. Remember, in the later parts of the affair, they would take different entrances. They would, move in different sequences in order to meet up with each other so that they wouldn't be detected. It's only now that, that they said, what the hell with it. We're going to just go up north. We're going to head up to Connecticut into the Poconos. And if we get found, we get found. But, we're going to try to be as discreet as possible. But, we may get caught. If we get caught, we're covered. So at that point, they didn't really care. Because again, as was stated in the Entertainment Tonight, in the Drama Bay report, as shown by the Daily Mail, you know what? Amy picked up. I think they really didn't care at that time. They knew this was going to be discovered. She picked up TJ while on the way home from work. They went up for their rendezvous for the weekend in the cabin in the hills, and they, enjoyed each other. Let's face facts. They pat each other on the butt, and they were quite satisfied with each other's company, knowing that if they were found out, hey, what are the ramifications? Not much, because they'd done the right things. So they did their due diligence. Let's face facts. That's why I say this is where cheating at the workplace is how it's done. This is how it's done. If you're going to go this route, there are certain steps you have to take. As we're revealing here on Talk Talk Live right now, we're going through the steps of how to have a secret romance in 9 steps. To a point where you have covered yourself legally. You are on the route to separation, divorce, and at that time you can literally let the public know of your tryst. Number 4, and if meeting after hours, pick a place far from your work location. You'll be easily spotted in the pub around the corner. Well, listen, they're spotted in the pub around the corner from the workplace, but at that time they didn't care. They literally didn't care at that time. In June, July, when they were still weighing things up in terms of leaving their spouses, yeah, you can care then. And that's when they had to be discreet, and that's why I think where things really bloomed is when they went away to London for the Diamond Jubilee of the Queen, and to cover that. That's when things really hit home, and they said to themselves, okay, I can't be without you. Oh, no, you can't be without me. What are we going to do about this? Okay, we're going to have to divorce our spouses. So they did. And they did. But again, if meeting after hours, pick a place far from your work location. So they did. They have been doing that. It's only recently that they said, you know what? Okay, we can share each other's company, share each other's spaces. We can make it public. And I think they knew of the ramifications. I think they knew, they were being followed quite simply, but they didn't care. They literally didn't care. That's why they're so nonchalant about things right now. So, don't leave any evidence. Number 5, this can be anything from undeleted email to lipstick marks to misplaced underwear, Cover your tracks at all times. Avoid sending emails through the company system, as it will only be a matter of time before one gets accidentally sent to Matin accounts. And never commit the ultimate sin, turning up to work in the same clothes 2 days in a row. There's a surefire sign that you can't make it home at the night before, and you will start rumors before you can say scandalous. So there you go. They cover their tracks, guys. Did you ever see them turning up to work in the same clothes 2 days in a row? Well, here's the thing. They have wardrobes. So how can you turn up to work 2 days? Well, yeah, how can you turn up to work 2 days in a row? Or to a certain point, they had change of clothes in each other's houses. Oh, at least one apart. I think in their New York apartments, because again, I think Amy had a home in in Connecticut or something, and TJ had his own home, but they had their New York apartments. That's where the affairs began, because they could share clothes and have secret compartments for each other's clothes and such and such and such. Yeah. This is a New York affair. This is definitely a New York affair. It ain't no outside tri-state stuff. This is a New York affair. They were covering their tracks at all times. They avoid sending emails in the company system. That's why nobody knew. This was strictly undercover. Strictly on the down low. They taught a lot of people how to do it. No rendezvous by email. No rendezvous via text. There wasn't anybody picking up a phone and saying, "Oh, who's this on the phone?" and da-da-da-da-da. No. None of that. I'm sure all this was word of mouth. All this affair was word of mouth. Nothing traceable. Crazy. But, hey, listen. Gotta hand it to them. They did it right. They did it right. Even though, it's not the right thing to do, but they did it. If you're going to do it, this is how you do it. This is how you do it, people. Again, they never turned up to work 2 days in a row. Again, they cover their tracks at all times. Avoid sending emails to each other through company software. They always. Well, I'm sure they didn't set anything up in and around any sort of. They didn't send emails. Let's just say that they didn't. They did not. They covered their tracks. Head off the gossip. At some point, someone will start getting suspicious. Quell any gossip surrounding you and your amour by ruthlessly starting more salacious rumors. So, or in other words, deflection. Well, let's face facts. I said in many reports, most people at ABC News knew of the affair. They knew of it. They couldn't confirm it. They didn't have proof of it, because it was all very hush-hush. It was all very discreet, and, it's all guilty by association and circumstantial evidence, but there wasn't any paper trail. Now, again, this is a bit of a silly one, because, again, if you want to head off the gossip, start another rumor about someone else, well, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem, quite simply. But again, it's, hey, they did their thing, man. They did their thing. So I would disregard number 6. Number 7, if you decide to have an extended lunch break, here we go. It's always ask permission from your boss first, and only if your boss says it's okay. Listen, these guys have extended lunch breaks all day long, so... And I don't think they need to ask their bosses. They're paid too much. They need to ask their bosses for anything. So I disregard this one too. If they wanna go on to a bar down the road and have a drink for an hour or two at a time, they're at liberty to do so, because again, they're in a position where they can do what they want as long as they adhere to company policy and they're there on time for the show. They can do what they want. Oh shoot, let me get the browser on. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back on Talk Live here. And we're on to number 7. Let me go back. Here we go. There we go. Sorry about that, YouTube. So, in terms of lunch breaks, who cares about lunch breaks? They had enough time together that they didn't need lunch breaks. And plus, they are only on air for like, what, an hour, 2 hours at a time. Lunch breaks can happen at any time anyway, so no worries. Again, number 8, do not show any public displays of affection. They were so good at this. Best to leave kisses and hugs when the two of you are on your own. Butt slaps in the woods when you think you're on your own. But they never made it public. They were very classy in terms of their interactions. If there was any hugs or thing, that was basically through running. It was basically through their love of running that you had any sort of, signs of affection. And any sign of vulnerability they had on air for the world to see. So they conducted themselves, quite admirably here for an affair. It is best to leave kisses and hugs when the two of you are on your own. There's nothing, when no one else is approaching, no one else in earshot, and when the two of you are outside of work and outside of work hours. Yeah, that's what they did. They canoodled from apartment to apartment. You know what I mean? They would have their weekends away. They would be on assignment. That's the time they got down. As they said, when it got to London, oh yeah, that's when things got heated. That's when things got heated. So, there's that. Don't give nosy Parkers or the gossips any ammunition. Plus, you never know who could spread the rumors of to your colleagues and to your boss when you're not about to do so. Listen, the head of ABC News sort of knew of the affair, but I wouldn't say for long. I would say it happened. I say within 2022. As I said before, this is something that went on for a few years now. Went on for a couple of years, I'd say. Because you're not going to divorce your significant other only after a couple of months. So it's not going to happen. It simply isn't going to happen. This was in the offing for, I would say, at least a year. A year to 2 years, to be fair. And it's only now that it came public, and now that people... And listen, the head of ABC News, I would say she would knew within the 2022 calendar year. I don't think she knew from step one of the affair, from part one of the affair from 2020 to 2021. Because, again, they started working together in 2020. 2021, I think, they started having feelings for each other, and they started, stepping out. And then 2022, they confirmed it. They're moving on. So it's been a year. Let's do the timeline. Let's do a basic timeline of things. You're not leaving your spouses within a 5-6 month time frame. It had to be for at least a year. They were canoodling. They were carrying on. At least a year or two. Especially 2021 was the start. 2022, where we are now. Things have moved to a point where, okay, I'm divorcing my husband. Are you going to divorce your wife? Absolutely. There it is. So, but they were very good at not displaying public affections. They weren't. They were very, very discreet about these sort of things. Very discreet. So, here we are, you know what I mean? So, they'd be seen walking together, but they weren't kissing each other. The one thing, you wouldn't even see them kissing each other. The one thing that they did do, smack each other in the butt. Because, they would carry on. I mean, they had a handhold in a car. A handhold in a car. That's the worst. The worst that they could get. Maybe the butt slap and the handhold. You never saw them kissing. They never saw them hugging. They never saw them doing anything of that sort. They were smart about these things, guys. They were very smart. And number 9, remember professionalism, discretion in the workplace. Make very sure that the coast is clear. That is, meaning your colleagues, boss, and especially the gossips are not around. Well, okay, the gossips were around, but again, they couldn't pin anything on them because it was all communal, you know what I mean? It was just... Sorry about that. Long day, my friends. Long, long, long day. Sorry about that. My goodness, where did it come from? So again, when it's whether it's on work premises or outside those work premises, you need to be professional. You can't. You need to keep things discreet. Danger. You may never know who is watching. The risk of your boss or colleagues or gossip seeing you too. You never who might be able. Well, again, most of ABC News knew that something was going on. They just couldn't. They didn't have evidence that something was going on, but they knew something was going on. They were, too close to each other, finish each other's sentences, running with each other too long, sharing a laugh. You got that from body language that, these two were indeed in cahoots with each other. They were cahoots. So, again, we move forward. So those are the 9 cases in which you want to keep out of office romance. A lot of these things are common sense, of course. Thank you to WikiHow on how to have a secret office romance with pictures. And it's great. It's fantastic. But where does that lead us? Where does that lead the population, the general rank and file, into having workplace affairs? Because again, as I was saying, workplace affairs are the most well-known, most publicized work affairs that one can have. Most common affairs one has is through the workplace. That's where you meet. That's where a lot of affairs begin, are at the workplace, because you're in each other's vicinity for a long time, and you can get personal with each other over a good long period if you are there for a good period of time. So, what does that mean for the rest of us? I mean, these two are $1 million bankable assets to a multi-billion-dollar company, the Disney Corporation. So, what does that mean for the rest of you? Well, again, should you consider cheating in the workplace? You could, but again, you got to realize what's at stake here. With Amy Holmes Amy Holmes, might as well be Amy Holmes. With Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, it was a case of, hey, we're earning millions of dollars. We're high profile personalities, so we can do this. Well, for the rank and file, there's still lessons to be learned here as well. You know what I mean? It has to be, certain things you got to take away from this affair is the fact that conducting a workplace affair, it has to be one, if you want things to end up the way they did, it has to be one where you end up together. You literally end up together. You end up husband and wife, or on the route to being so, or leaving your husband and wife, both. And you have to weigh the pros and cons seriously, because again, you don't want to be a guy, who can lose his shirt through, a guy like TJ Holmes can ride it. Oh God. Okay, sorry about that. Oh my God. That's a bit funny. Never had that happen on the show before. Goodness gracious. Where did that come from? Hope you're still with me on Talk Live. We are back. We are live. Okay. That was funny. Wow. Where did that come from? We are having a good night tonight. We're having a very good night in terms of reception, which is amazing. Thank you for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're just going to wrap up the show here in stating that I wish that that both of the exes, Ms. Feebig and Mr. Shu can find solace, because I know they are ultimately pissed at what's going on here, and so they should be. But and I hope the kids of Miss Feebig are able to get through this, this, I wouldn't say traumatic time at this, through this turbulent stage of their lives, with safe in the knowledge that that their parents love them, and they will always look out for them. But these things happen, people. And if there's any way that you want to cheat, this is the way you want to cheat, because quite simply, let's look at the end game. The end game is they can't be fired from GMA. They are already saying that they were consenting adults. The only way that they could be let go is if they were, constructively dismissed. And when I say constructively dismissed, they would be told, you be given this assignment, that is beneath your station, and they literally say, you know what, they're paying me millions of dollars, but I don't like the roles that they're giving me, so I will leave. But it may be a case where, literally, it may be a case where they can ride this storm out. They were seen as, they'll be seen as, very popular public entities of a, most well-known show. So they can turn around and say, okay, we're married. Yes, we had an affair, but we're here together, and and people look past that. I think if a full confessional comes out and they have some sort of PR help, I think they can spin on this. But again, they have two hosts that are there at the moment. Let me see here. Where is it now? Is it here? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Gio Benitez, and I believe there's Gio Benitez and I think it was a Latina lady. I don't know who it is there as of yet. But anyways, Gio Benitez is co-hosting the show, the GMA3 show now, and it is believed that he's been given a trial run to see if he can, run the ship. And if the ratings stay high, then, I think Amy Robach and TJ Holmes will be constructively dismissed. They will be let go. However, we'll see where this plays out. I am very interested in what I see here. I mean, rarely do you see a scandal such as this, and rarely do you see such a scandal whereby the two suspects in the scandal come out smelling like a rose. Literally come out smelling like a rose. Because the very next day, TJ Holmes was invited back. Amy Robach was invited back, and they continued their jobs as per usual. They never skipped a beat. They avoided the issue. Again, let's see the tape. Where'd it go here? Let's see the tape again. Yes, don't be surprised. There you go. Avoidance and humor. There we go. That statement right there says it all. We're going to leave on this here last statement. Amy and TJ will not face disciplinary action because they're two consulting co-workers who are equals in a relationship. They weighed the pros and cons. They realized that no power dynamic, no Me Too movement can come after them because they're both equals in that job. They're both co-anchors. Not only that, their affair was conducted to a point where both of them had decided to leave their relationships and begin divorce proceedings, let their spouses know of what they were doing, and they're on their way down the road to divorce. I think, as I said, Ms. Robach and Mr. Schumer were nearly finished their divorce proceedings. They were going through mediation at this time. So they were sorting themselves out in terms of their divorce. And I'm sure that Mr. Holmes and Ms. Feebig were going through the same thing. So they handled it correctly. They handled it. It's nasty. It's a nasty piece. Well, I wouldn't say it's a nasty piece of business. Let's say that. It is not the nicest thing to do. However, if you're gonna do it this way. Do it to a point where they won't face disciplinary action. They will, because they were two consenting co-workers. They were equals. There was no power dynamic here. There was none. In a relationship. Because they were past down the road where they were married, and it went against, family values. Because, again, GMA 1, 2, 3 are family shows. And they don't want to, besmirch their public in any way, shape, or form. So again, thank you for joining me on Talk Live about the TJ Holmes and Amy Robach affair, how they did it right, how cheating in the workplace was done right in this instance, done absolutely correctly, if you're going to do it. And again, I look forward to see what happens next in this saga, because this is only gonna get juicier, because again, they are now a couple. As says here, they are now consenting co-workers. No SA on either end. No power dynamic on either end. They are now in a relationship. They are now, boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe potentially man and wife. So, what more can you say? Don't hate the player, hate the game. And they played a good game. So, thank you for joining me on Talk Live. We're going to end it right there. I'll be back again tomorrow night. At least see if there's any more new YouTube comments. No, we're good to go. But we're going to be back tomorrow night on Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. It was, a nice change of pace, to say the least. We'll see what happens tomorrow. What next I can bring you on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Done Talk. Fall winter line out now. And I'm going to go back to full cam. And thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining me tonight. Again, sorry for I wasn't there yesterday, but I was doing necessary work in terms of getting these posts out. I know one post is out right now, and that is Why Women Are Not 10s. Look forward to that. We're starting to finally upload the Instagram posts. They are starting to come out now. So give it a couple days. There are a few shows that we wish to push forward outside of the lives, so you can have this sort of feel we have here. And again, more changes coming in the next couple weeks. But please please subscribe, please comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I thank you for your support, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. The reception was quite nice tonight. So thank you for joining me live on Talk. We'll speak to you tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night. Yes, we're coming back tomorrow night. We'll do a double shift. Tonight, tomorrow night, Thursday night. That's our thing. We're gonna get it done. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight on TJ Holmes, Amy Robach, how to engage in a workplace romance. How it's done right. Anyways, talk soon. If you talk, walk the walk. Speak to you soon. Peace. And say goodnight to you on YouTube as well. Thank you for joining me. And new cameras coming, new things changing. Again, stick with me, and hope you enjoyed.